And so we've got to be humble enough to have a conversation with each other, have open, honest communication, and put action into words. I'm tired of the words with no action. I am so tired of that. And it doesn't matter if it's the Democratic Party, it doesn't matter if it's people of color, it doesn't matter if it's the government, it doesn't matter if it's our school system, it doesn't matter if it's our penal system, our sheriff, whatever, our mayor. I am tired of empty words and no action.
Greetings, my posse. Welcome to the Roundup with Rodney and Rodney. I'm Rodney J. Littles.
And I'm Rodney Butler. Hey, Rodney, it's been a long week, man. A lot going on. I'm sure we don't have to remind the family what's been going on, or the posse what's been going on. So, but anyway, we had a post-election special, and I hope everybody get a chance to check that out, and it'll let you know how we feel about everything. And before we get started, Rodney, before you get to introduce our esteemed special guest tonight, I just want to let the family know that that Bobby Fryer will not be here tonight. He had a very, very important meeting that he had to get on, but he did want to make sure that we let you guys know that he's still fired up. He's still a little angry. He hasn't quite calmed down all the way yet. So basically next week and then the week after that, when you hear him, he's still going to have the fire in his belly. But he definitely wanted us to let you guys know that, hey, he is still fired up and he's ready to go. So with that being said, Rodney, let's get it done, man.
Yes, sir, my brother. Thank you so much. It's so great to be with the posse tonight. We have a really special guest tonight, Vice Chair Khadijah Abdur-Rahman of the Fulton County Commission. She represents District 6. She's affectionately known as Commissioner Khadijah. She's a business owner, community organizer, a human rights advocate who demonstrates a passion for people and purposeful leadership. Before becoming a commissioner, she established herself as a leader in the social justice movement. The daughter of Victoria Travis Jackson, a legend in the annals of America's civil rights movement, and dad James Jackson, an entrepreneur, Khadijah grew up in Atlanta politics at the heart of the city's struggle with equity and Black empowerment. Vice Chair Khadijah responds to the needs and challenges of county employees by passing legislation that provided a pandemic relief bonus check. In addition, she secured enhanced funding for the Sheriff's Office and the Office of the District Attorney. She also passed the voter rights legislation ensuring one person, one vote in the county. Placing the people before politics in the spirit of bipartisanship, Vice Chair Commissioner Khadijah partnered with her Republican colleague to establish a pre-arrest diversion center to provide nonviolent offenders with medical treatment instead of incarceration in a prison or jail. This center offers humane, practical alternatives for those needing medical attention and serves as a model for other communities. Vice Chair Commissioner Khadijah is a product of the Atlanta Public Schools, having attended Peyton Forest Elementary, Southwest Atlanta High, and Benjamin E. Mays High. She earned her Bachelor of Science in Criminal Justice at the Ambassador Andrew Young School of Public Policy Studies at Georgia State University. For her full bio, visit the Fulton County website, because I didn't have enough time to put it all in there. but we are honored to have you, my sister, and I call you my sister because, full disclosure, Commissioner Khadijah, when she represented my area before redistricting, I had the opportunity to work with her as the regional chair of the Fulton County Democratic Party. I worked with her as the incoming new commissioner, and we established a rapport right away because she was about taking care of people's business. Her spirit came through in every conversation I had with her, and I tested her, let me tell you, and she passed every test, flying colors. So I've had the esteemed pleasure of being nominated by her to sit on the Fulton County Economic Development Authority. And after they redistricted and took her away from me, she appointed me to the Fulton County Reparations Task Force, where I represent her interest on that task force. So that's full disclosure. Queen Mother, greet us.
I'm so honored to be here, gentlemen. They say, you sometimes you have to savor when it takes a journey and a time to get to the destination. And I know that you and I and my team has been trying to make this happen, and it's finally happening. So I appreciate that as a victory itself, because
Yes,
I
ma'am.
have a very hectic schedule, and I know that you all do too.
Yes.
And but I'm here, and I'm honored to be here with two of what I call my brothers in arms for the fight for the community. And so anytime that I can sit down and chop it up with individuals that put the community first, I'm always honored.
So, Commish, tell us a little bit about what the challenges are that the county has faced recently, and how does it look for the future as we go into the new year?
Well, the challenges are the same as anybody else challenges. We're no different. We're having to tighten our belt. We're having to make decisions that sometimes may be unpopular but are needed for the long run. Most people do not realize that coming out of COVID, now we are beginning to feel the effects of it. We were in COVID, then we came out of it, and we saw the help that came from Biden and all the things that happened. And now, a lot of that help is going away. Uh, we are gonna have to uh charter some stormy seas, but hey, we've been here before. We'll make it. I'm a firm believer that sometimes your test is to show the strength of what you can handle. What's the old saying that you never know how good tea is until you put it in hot water? Uh, we have to make sure that we continue to steer the ship. Some of the things will look differently, but I'm a firm believer that if we come together, and when I say we, all of us in Fulton County especially, and work together, listen, there's nothing we can't do when we use what I consider the village concept. See, when the village concept is in place, no one person gets uh the honor of it. Everybody gets the honor of it because everybody reaps the benefits and everybody does the work. And so it's going to take a village concept for us to uh storm these seas, but I'm a firm believer, Rodney, that we'll get through.
Amen. 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 Now, what are your really serious concerns that you've been focusing on? I know you've gone through. How long have you been on the commission now?
I'm ending my 4-year term. Uh Thank God I was reelected. I appreciate the wise citizens of the Mighty Six. Um, this
Right.
was a hard fought battle. I know people don't like for me to say that, but it was a battle. But the actual taxpaying citizens of Fulton County should be applauded for not only their ability to know uh, that their choice lies with them, but they didn't believe the hype. I've been out here a long time, Rodney. You know that. And what they say, there's nothing like a good name. And so my name is good and will continue to be good. I often tell people I'm in these political streets with receipts. Uh, I don't work 4 to 6 weeks before the election. I would even venture to say that I never stopped working once I won this seat. And that is me, and that's always been my goal. I appreciate the people putting me here, but they are my bosses. And if you want your boss to keep you in place, you're going to do the job. You're going to wake every day trying to make sure that you impress your boss as to why you should not be replaced. So I'm excited that the Fulton County taxpayers, citizens sent me back for another 4-year term. And I appreciate the body of work that I've done. I've done body of work with my fellow legislators, and I've done body of work bipartisan. I'm of the firm belief that if we truly are going to get anything done, we've got to learn how to work in a spirit of being bipartisan. And I'm a firm believer that you can still hold on to your democratic values and do what you need for the community and get things done when everyone in the room puts their ego on the shelf. And so I'm excited to be able to move forward. Of course, you know, the diversion center. We recently did the ribbon
Yes.
cutting for that. That was at one while, right? And we thought we weren't going to be able to open it, but due to the grace of God, we've got it. It was a bipartisan effort. I have seen in other states the bronze, the gold, and the silver standard for the diversion centers. And so I am so excited about the diversion center. If we're truly talking about criminal justice reform, you can't just lock up people and not give them resources, familiar faces. We're seeing the same people over and over again getting arrested. And instead of being incarcerated, they need resources. And so that's where my heart is right now.
You represent this part of the southern region of the county. How much different is the northern region from the south in terms of need and the kind of services that are required from the county?
Well, of course, each district has its own set characteristics. However, the needs are the same. Why do I say that, Rodney? I say that because I am, and I say this respectfully, but I say it humbly. I believe I'm the only commissioner that takes calls from all over. My phone rings from one end of the county to the other. My phone rings in state and out of state. And I can tell you that people all want the same thing. What do I mean? They want safe, affordable housing. They want to make sure that when they go to work, that they're going to be able to come back home. They want to make sure their children are educated. They want to make sure that they have business opportunities if they're an entrepreneur, and they also want to make sure that there's a level playing field. I often tell people I was elected by the citizens of the Mighty Six, but I answer to the entire Fulton County because
Gotcha.
all taxpaying constituents, I answer to them. Now, that's a novel, depending on who you talk to, that's a novel idea. But this is the reason I say this, brothers. Until we decide that we're all in the same boat, the boat is going to continue to be lopsided because
Amen.
somebody's going to roll the oar on one end more than the other. But maybe somebody won't roll it at all.
Right.
And so until we understand the old saying of we going to sink or swim together,
Yes, ma'am.
then that's the success of Fulton County. You have homelessness that's prevalent in North Fulton. They may not want me to say anything about it, but
Okay.
it is prevalent. It's more so prevalent after
Okay.
the pandemic. You have
Right.
blights of areas where individuals are trying to make a way out of no way. They're just on the other side of town. You've got people that are trying to live with integrity, pay the bills, get the bills done, take care of the family, have maybe a grandmother or a nephew not necessarily in what we call the traditional family, but it's still family. And they still have needs. And so I tell most people, this north versus south, or our resources. You have some people you may talk with in North Fulton and say, well, all the resources go to the south. That's not true. Well, I just what I believe in teaching a man to fish. I believe that there are opportunities for everyone. I do believe that sometimes we have to get creative with those opportunities. What do I mean by that? I mean that we know in some instances where we're lacking, what our needs are. We as a community should be able to get together. We're talking about the that we have a food desert. We're talking about that we have certain things in communities of colors that other communities don't have. Hey, we got enough folks make a whole bunch of money that could come together and help solve these problems. And so I'm saying to you all gentlemen tonight that I'm a problem solver. I don't believe we get anything done or not a whole bunch done by pointing fingers and having a woe is me attitude. I believe that I'm gonna have a conversation with people who like me as well as who may dislike me or may not understand me. Because I'm gonna find common ground wherever I go. And I believe that when you are sincere and you do the work, and you do the work when the camera's not rolling, that you develop a certain amount of respect in the communities. And it doesn't matter what community it is. I'm a firm believer that you're known as a person that gets stuff done. And so we need some get stuff done about us in the community now. We need some people that don't care who get the credit. We just need to get some work done. And I'm here to work with anybody that wants to work with me. I don't necessarily take the position of the glass is half empty. I take the position that the glass is half full. Now, what do I need to do to fill up the rest of the glass?
That's
And,
right.
and so what I'm saying to you all, gentlemen, is that as a community, if we are going to rise, we're going to rise together. If we are going to fall, we're going to fall together. We have to take the position of accountability. I have been big on being in the civil rights era, watching my parents work to get Maynard Jackson in, and subsequently a lot of mayors of color. Stop voting people in and not holding them accountable. Please stop doing that. That has been one of the biggest things, in my opinion. Let me be crystal clear. In my opinion, we often vote for people because they look like us. And we come back to election day and look for that same person that look or sound like us. But those 2 or 4 years in between, we have not held them accountable. And that has been one of our communities, to me, downfalls, is that we collectively have not held people who look like us accountable. And so I'm big on making sure that any accountability, first of all, starts with me. You got to hold me accountable. Brother Rodney, many a time we had conversations and we have not always agreed, but we were able to come to common ground of how do we get
Yes.
something done.
Yes.
And so I'm of the opinion, until we start having those hard conversations about where do we see ourselves, what are we doing in the next generation of mentoring and promoting other people to run for office. Listen, I as much as I would love to be here forever, I'm not. I need some young men, some young women to come up and be mentored by me to get out there. This is not a reality show. Politics is not a reality show. I know people think it is, but it's not.
No.
We're talking about lives. We're talking about legislation. We're talking about what are you using to impact for the betterment of the community. And so I'm one that believes that we've got to have some real serious conversations, especially now.
I agree. I appreciate your input on that, and I appreciate the passion that you express for your people and your community. And you still sound like a community advocate to me.
Listen, listen. What's in the blood can't be washed away. You know,
Amen.
I
Amen.
listen. I don't apologize. I know that people. I'm not everybody's cup of tea, but guess what? Some folk like fine wine. So, so I don't have an issue with that. What I hope and pray in this 2024 that we understand that there are those that are gonna come. Well, let me change that. There are those that came before us that wanted us to do better. And there are going to be those that will come after us that we want to do better. But how can they do better if we don't engage them, if we don't show them the way, and we don't give them a reason to want to take the hits? I don't care what nobody says in politics. If you are a community servant, you're going to take the hits. And it is what it is. I'm not complaining. I knew what I signed up for. But this is not for the faint-hearted, and we need to tell the people, why are you getting in politics? Because everybody's reason may be different, and rightfully so. They have their own road to walk, their own journey to master. But I'm of the opinion that if I can't impact or empower somebody, why am I sitting in the seat? That's my opinion. That's what I live by.
Speaking of sitting in the seat, Madam Vice Chair, can you tell the audience what is your role and responsibility as Vice Chair?
Well, my roles and responsibilities as the vice chair of Fulton County, the county commission, of course, you know, we deal with the courts, with the libraries, with the jail, with the voting, of course, the Fulton County health, of course, the permitting and all of that. Fulton County, you cannot go through a day and not see the effects of Fulton County, whether it's your library, whether it's your home. You step out and you know you got your taxes and you're looking around and saying, you know, Lord have mercy, this house has really gone up in taxes. Or if you gotta sue somebody, or if you're being sued, or fortunately or fortunately, depending on who you're talking to, you may even have enter our criminal justice system for whatever reason. And so one cannot get away from what Fulton County does. I know from a point of legislatively, we do a whole lot that people do not realize because people are focused on the city. But your county is where a lot of your decisions that affect your livelihood, it affects um basically depending on where you are, your school system, it depending on where your health system, depending on where you are, your ability to get certain permits. And so I tell people to become educated with what the county does, because a lot of times people will call me and they'll have an issue that's a city issue, a municipal issue.
Mm-hmm.
And I direct them and educate them. but sometimes I have to advocate for them. That's a reality. Sometimes people come to me and they say, you know what, Commissioner, I know that this is a city issue, but I cannot seem to get any response. And so that's when my office go into what I call the advocacy phase. Hey, so and so member of your constituency base is trying to get this done. How can we help? How can we help you solve this? I remember when we had the issue with the animal shelter. You know, Fulton County is responsible for the welfare and the health of the animal system. And what a lot of people didn't realize when we had that, what I call the standoff, this is what they like to say it is. I don't call it a standoff. What I call is a stand on, because it's not fair for 14 other cities to be paying their fair share and city of Atlanta not to pay theirs. Now, you know, anybody don't like that statement, I'm sorry, but that's the reality. I live in Atlanta, born and raised in Atlanta. When I'm dead and buried, I'll be Atlanta dead. But that does not dismiss me from my duty to be fair to all of Fulton County. And I'm glad we were able to get past that. But a lot of people did not know. People were still calling my office. Volunteers were still picking up animals or talking to different resources, making sure that there was a gap filler, because that's what I am and that's what I live by. But the reality of any situation is that individuals forget that this is taxpayer money. This is the taxpayer citizens that pay all of us who are
That's right.
servants, pay all our salaries.
Amen.
So uh, our first duty is to them, and to make sure that we do everything in our power to make their lives a little bit easier, to help solve their problems. And if we at the county can't solve it, then we need to get with whether it is a municipal or if it's a federal issue. We need to help find the solution.
Amen. 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 Well, I have a oh, Rodney B. Did you have a question?
No, I have something at the very end that
Okay.
that definitely need to be coined that
Okay.
the
Okay. Hold
commissioner
on.
said.
Hold on.
Yeah.
All right. Commiss, my dear, I have a segue into our closing. Would you please tell us how you got the title of Queen Mother and what it means? Because when I grew up in politics, what it meant to me was it was the elder sister in the community that had strong political ties and knew how to go behind the closed doors and get things we needed for our community, and held the politicians accountable. That was the term that we used as, and you know, it was always a sister, right? So we use that term Queen Mother. But in your case, it has a different meaning, although I still see you that way.
Yeah, you know, we had some international dysphoria from Africa to come in. And they were looking at Fulton County and how we do things, especially with our criminal justice and our business, and how we are trying to do international trade and to help individuals that look like you or me understand there's a whole world out there that they can offer services to. And so they, for the lack of a better word, knighted me as Queen Mother. And Queen Mother, when I travel over there, I will be extended the highest, not only accolades but the responsibilities. I will be treated honorable as royalty of the kingdom because of the attributes I have. They were very, very impressed of how I made things happen for them when they were here, how I stayed in touch and talk to people at the county and the city and the federal level to let them know, hey, we roll out the carpet for other people when they come out here. We
All
should
right.
roll out the carpet for people who look like us. And
Yeah,
so
come
they
on,
were
right.
just so amazed, and they were humbled by it. And they were more so humbled that it was a woman that took the forefront on doing that. And they coined me and knighted me as Queen Mother Mahdi. And so that is a distinction internationally from Africa that I'm very honored to have. And I often think about this woman here who often, has her purple gloves in my heart. And so, like I tell people, you know, everybody has a role they need to be in. I don't know. I'm never going to apologize for being a fighter, because there
Right.
are needs for a fighter sometimes. But
Yes, ma'am.
it is very humbling to understand, to know what you're fighting for. See, it's one thing to say you're a fighter. It's another
Okay.
thing to understand what you are fighting for. With me, I'm
True.
always fighting for the less of these. I'm always fighting for equity. I'm always fighting for the village. I'm always fighting for everyone to understand that everyone deserves a seat at the table, no matter how they look, no matter their social pedigree, no matter who they are, they deserve a seat at the table. And if in fact they want that seat, I believe empowering them in order for them to get it.
God bless you. Powerful. Very powerful. Why? I just want to be able to carry your briefcase when you go. That's all.
Listen, listen. Now, you are somebody that I constantly seek counsel with, and someone who I know that's in the community as well. And it's one thing about people like you and I, that we live, eat, and breathe liberation. We
Amen.
believe that there is a promised land for everybody. And so when you and I and others like us understand that it is what we have in common that makes us the village, not our differences. It is so many. And when I say this, I know it's going to offend some people. And, some people might say, well, she stepped on some toes. I am the original toe stepper. So, it don't bother me. But at the end of the day, we must understand that we are only as strong as our weakest link. And once we understand that and move in that direction for real, and understand that sometimes it's people who look like you that will not work with you, and sometimes it's people that don't look like you that will work with you. And you should be able to storm, or you should be able to charter those instances when they come up. But at the end of the day, it is about community, it's about village, it's about empowerment, it's about making sure that there's accountability across the board. And until we understand that everybody has a role of being accountable as the community, as the village, you know, we really just spinning our wheels if we don't understand and buy into that concept. You know, you are a very intelligent man, and there are things that I needed to ask you and say, Rodney, well, what do you think about this? Well, you didn't say, well, I'm not gonna share anything with her because I need to get something out of it. You didn't take that position. You were like, well, Commissioner, I think it's a good idea, but let me show you something else. Let me show you what will make it a better idea. And so we've got to be humble enough to have a conversation with each other, have open, honest communication, and put action into words. I'm tired of the words with no action. I am so
Right.
tired of that. I am. And it doesn't matter if it's the Democratic Party. It doesn't matter if it's people of color. It doesn't matter if it's the government. It doesn't matter if it's our school system. It doesn't matter if it's our penal system, our sheriff, whatever, our mayor. I am tired of empty words and no action.
Amen. Amen. Well, Commissioner, when do you normally meet, and how can people follow the county commission board meeting?
The Board of Commissioners meet every first and third Wednesday at 10 a.m. at the Fulton County Government Complex. I would encourage people to come, just sit in and listen. If they can go by Zoom and listen in by Zoom, we do have that capability now. Full disclosure, I don't know how long it's going to be by Zoom. So I suggest those that can get the information, get it now. Because there are decisions being made at the county level that you need to know, the entire community needs to know about, and they need to empower themselves. And so it's very important to me that people know what's going on at the county level. Also, I'm on all social media. We need Commissioner Khadijah Abdur-Rahman. They can reach out to my office, 404-612-8222. That's 404-612-8222 if they have any needs or concerns. But I'm accessible. That's one thing that I have enjoyed 4 years of accessibility, and I will continue to provide accessibility to all citizens of Fulton County.
Congratulations, and thank you so much for your willingness to serve. Rodney.
Thank you.
Yeah, look, I've really enjoyed everything that the commissioner said tonight, and I wrote down, me, Rodney, I write everything, man. But I actually, wrote down or highlighted something that she said that I think is profound, honestly, and that is we need some, quote, get stuff done people. And I'm gonna just leave it at that, brother. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Amen. Amen. Well, God bless you. Thank you again for joining us, and we'll be seeing you around.
Thank you, gentlemen. And listen, anytime I can come and be on the show, I'd be more than honored. You all are doing a great job in getting the information out there. I'm honored to be here, and you all take care.
God bless you.
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair.
All right.
Right, Rodney. That was a lot of good information. And, the commissioner, she is so humble, but also so strong at the same time.
That was a good one. Well, I think we're probably out of time right about now.
Well, no,
watching the clock.
Yeah, we can probably still squeeze in a couple of things that we needed to do, but we definitely allowed for the commissioner to get those extra minutes that Bobby wasn't able to get in.
So. Yes, text messages that came out right after that to Black college students around the country and stuff. It seems to me as though folks are taking liberties that go beyond civility. We may disagree with who we support for a particular office. I understand that. But to want to make it difficult for people to exercise their constitutional right to vote, to put fear in their hearts that they may get blown up going to the polls, to send a text message saying, pack your bags, Thursday at 7 p.m. we're coming to pick you up in a gray van, and you're going back to the cotton fields. I think there needs to be a re-education of folks to understand what contribution slaves and descendants of slaves have made to this country. You go through, I don't care what war you go through, the Civil War, the Revolutionary War, we were there. World War II, World War I, Vietnam, Iraq, we were there. So I don't understand the need for folks to press this issue of race. There's only one race. That's the human race. And I think folks need to understand their history. And there's no such thing as Black history. There's American history. The Black part of American history is our struggle in this country. And we need to understand that we're Americans. We got no place to go back to. Where you going to send me? We're here. We're part of this country. We only want the best for our family that you want for yours. We don't want to take what you have that for us. The pie is big enough for everybody to eat if we work together, as the commission had indicated. So, Rodney, I was thoroughly disgusted with the sentiments that came out and the attacks. And the question is, where did they come from? Some of the reports said this was a Russian interference issue. Well, we know who they supported, the president. So who's the enemy within, really? Who's the enemy within? For my family, it ain't somebody across seas.
Yeah. What I say, Rodney, is that when they say make America great again, which part of America do you find that was great? And I'm so glad that I get to say without explanation, the truth about the country. You can call me unpatriotic all you want. You can call me, it was said that we criticize what we love. If you don't love something, you don't criticize it because you just don't care about it. You just keep moving. So to criticize America is to love her. And if someone is going to say that I don't love America because I may criticize America, then I'm going to ask them, how many years did they serve, in the uniform of America, and how many combat tours did they do? Otherwise, I don't want to hear anything someone got to say about unpatriotic when criticizing this country. And so what I will say is that one of the things that I thought the Democrats did an excellent job that they attempted to do anyway, which was to take back or not take back, but take away this mantra that the Republican Party is the party of patriotism. I think the Democratic Party, for some of the criticism that I give the Democratic Party for not reaching out to his base, not reaching out to his people for the last 40 years, 50 years, and not talking to them directly. But one thing I can say with this election cycle, that the Democrats, I thought, did a very good job in, and I was very excited about the way that they, waved the flag and patriotism. But guess what? As you can see, it did not mean a whole lot. Let me tell you, I think over the next 4 years, get ready to see some of the things that, our parents and grandparents saw, in the 1950s, in the 1940s, 1930s even, because I think that, like you're saying, race is a made-up construct, right? But we didn't create it. So, I say all the time on this platform that I have to call it the black man's round table because we can't afford to leave the black silent, because you continue to put, to this construct of whiteness in our face day in and day out, and then expect that once we say the word black or white, that we are, bringing up race, when we know that the people who consistently talk about race all the time, all day long, are, as far as parties, is the Republican Party, so you want to, have all of this institutional racism and other kind of racisms, and then say, well, but you better not talk about race. So I ignore that stuff because it's not going to work on me. I can guarantee you that. But at the end of the day, Rodney, like you're saying, we are Americans. We are one people, and we are the human race. But what I'm telling you, brothers, we're not the ones perpetuating that we're not. We are not. We have never called someone and you know, and did studies and did all kind of tests and exams to prove that they are not even human. So when we say the human race, when you've tried all of these years and still you talk to some people, you know, of the other persuasion, they don't see us as human. So that's so when you say the human race, that don't mean the same thing to me and you that it may means to other people, right? You say you're a human, they looking at you cross-eyed.
Good point.
Yeah.
Well, that was a hot topic, bro.
Yep, and we don't have a spotlight, right? Because we've beat Project 2025 to death, and there's no point in continuing to beat that. But yes, we did wanted to give the commissioner, the vice chair, you know, ample time, and so yeah, and that's what we did, and I'm glad we were able to do that. So Rodney, if you don't have anything for hot topics, I guess, I mean, if that's it for the hot topic, we can begin to wrap it up, man.
Yeah, well, a whole spotlight, like you said, we were focusing on Project 2025 during the campaign, try to warn people about what it was about. And we had a good education tonight on Fulton County government and the vice chair's perspective on our community's progress. So on that, I'm going to wrap it up.
Yes, sir. You
can catch the Roundup with Rodney and Rodney the second and fourth Thursdays of the month at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Like and subscribe to Black Man's Roundtable on Facebook and YouTube. We are also on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts. This is Rodney J. Littles for the Rodney and Rodney Roundup.
Peace, brother.
All right, now, be well.
Don't forget to check us out on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts. Do you have show ideas or want to be on the show? Shoot us an email at blackmansroundtable@gmail.com. And please follow us on Facebook.